Hello and welcome back. Welcome to part 2 of our 1/200 scale Yamato build by Trumpeter, distributed by Monochrome. And right, we're into doing the ship's boats. So in the last video we've done these two boats here. These are the 17-meter ceremonial barges, and there they are there in the box, looking nice. Now, one thing I forgot to mention is the stands for these to go on, which are on here. In fact, that's not them, these are them here. They still have to be added, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave these, do them later once I know where they're going to go on the ship and where exactly to position them underneath, because it roughly just got arrows pointing a space for 4 of them to go under there, but until I know how they're going to sit on the deck, I'm not sure. So what I might do is I might at least paint them the color of the ship. I guess that will be the grey. And hello, I'd just like to cut in right now and just mention that the last video I had so many comments below and so much advice and tips and help. I just wanted to give a shout out to one of my subscribers whose name I could never pronounce, but I'll write it up there. He left a note in comments to let me know that the boat positions are in the anatomy of the ship, and they're in there on page 321, as you can see in the photograph. So thank you for that. That saved me. I completely missed that and didn't realize that that was there at all. I also want to give a shout out and a thank you to Mark Burford, I hope that's pronounced right, terrible with names, who caught up with me and messaged me and sent me a link that's from the Glow2B website, where you could download a PDF of the instructions. So that saved me photographing every page as I went along, so now I have a PDF. So thank you very much for letting me know about that. That's a great help. Lots of advice, lots of tips, thank you all, and I just thought I'd cut in and mention that. And yeah, let's get back to the video. Thank you all. Of these, just checking. Yeah, so there's one of these boats, which is the 15-meter ceremonial barge, which looks quite good in itself, doesn't it? So it will be the one that's on this sprue here. Quite a large boat. I think it may, let me just check. It's about, oh yeah, it's a fraction smaller than, not quite as long as the other ones, but that's it there. So first things I'll do is I'll take these off, and yeah, we'll take a look at some of the detail, and we'll get the bits off the sprue. Okay, so again, please subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that notifications bell so you get notified each time a video is uploaded, and you'll be able to see it straight away. Give us a thumbs up if you like the video, and your comments are welcome. And if you're coming into this for the first time, this is going into a playlist. It'll be called the Yamato 1/200 Yamato, and you can watch that right from the unboxing review and all the way through as we get through this massive build. All right, so let me get the plastic off the sprues, and we'll take a look at what we've got to do. I'll be back shortly. Okay, so I'm just also taking off the photo etch required, and similar to the last little boat, except this one actually has a little photo etch rudder that's underneath, just behind the propeller, which is also there. And then there's a little window part we've got to bend, like on the last ship, except this it's more detailed. It has like the glass, all the cutouts where the glass is, which I'll be able to later fill that with my clear glue and give it that glass effect. I also noticed well, I should have noticed it before, that the propellers, there's a little tick mark and it says bend. And I didn't notice it on the last propellers, but it was there. I just wasn't looking properly. So the blades of the propeller, as tiny as it is, there they are there. You won't be able to see, I'm pretty sure. But you can even pick it up. There it is there. So you can actually twist them a little bit so that they are sort of at a bit of an angle. So I will do that, and I'll be able to do that with on the other boats that I've already done as well. Just get the tweezers in there and just twist them a little. So yeah, I didn't notice that. So you have to pay a bit more attention. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to get those pieces are off now. I'll do the railings. There's 2 railings for the front, and then I'll get all these parts prepared for painting. If I remember right, I think I painted the deck separately. On this particular one, there's this will probably be grey on the top here, so they're quite raised a bit, which is really good. So I'll be able to hand brush that. They seem a little bit more raised than on the last 2 boats. Mind you, there's only one of these ones. This one I've got the shaft on, just put that on, and I will put the photo etch on and the propeller. And even though I painted all grey, I'll be able to touch that propeller with the copper, get that looking nice, and maybe even that, no, the rudder will be grey, so that's fine. All right, so we'll come back and have a look, a little bit more progress back shortly. Okay, so there's all our parts ready to spray. I've got the rudder on, the little propeller on there. I got all these little ones on the end of their toothpicks. They were pretty fiddly, but it's okay. And deck's ready to do. So I'm going to undercoat these in my Outlaw Paints primer. Let that dry, and then move on to masking up. I've got to mask up the top of this just here, so I want that to be grey and not deck tan. So how am I going to do that? I'll figure that out. And then of course the rest is all going to be grey. We'll do it like I did with the other boats. These bits will be the copper again, the little funnels, and we'll do the panel line wash to bring up the black in the windows, so that they can be done with the ammo glue that makes them look like glass. All right, so I'll be back after I've done this. Back in a sec. Welcome back again. So primed, all the priming's done, and I've just started masking up this top area here, which I want to have stay grey. But then I realised I didn't really need to mask that up, because I could just paint over the deck tan. It's all going to be sprayed deck tan. Just inside here, I've used my liquid mask in those 3 little spots there, just to keep them grey. All I've got to do now is deck tan all of this. This area here will be covered by the top here. Both these pieces will go over the top of those, so that's no problem. That area we'll brush paint that grey to keep that the colour. Yeah, no problem. So I know what I'm doing, for sure. These parts here, the little funnels, have all been done silver, not silver, copper, like on the last boats. So I've just painted them up and let them dry. This is the hull here, ready for its grey. So I'll be able to spray all that grey, and then afterwards I'll come back and do the copper on the propeller, and then the white on these parts around the side here. These also ready to do the grey, and of course, like last time, we'll use the panel line wash to do the windows, make them stand out dark, and we'll fill them with our big ammo, there it is, glue, to give them that clear glass look. All right, done. I'll get over there, put some paint on these, and then we'll come back. We do need to drill the holes out in the top of this one here. So there's little fiddly bits. Okay, so I shall return on. By the way, I'm using these little icky sticky tapes, masking tapes. This one's the 2 millimeter wide. There's actually one there that's 1 millimeter wide. Very handy for masking off little tiny parts. So yeah, nice. All right, I'll be back shortly. Okay, so as you can see, the deck tan went on really nicely. I've taken my tape off, so that's all cleared up. All I need to do now is I'm going to airbrush. I was going to just hand brush it, but I thought it's not going to look so good when these go on here and here if it doesn't match properly. So what I'll do is I'll tape all of this up around the outside, give it a quick fly over with the airbrush to get the grey at the same time as I do this, this and this, which are just undercoated at the moment, but they need to get that XF75 grey on there. Okay, so I will go and do that right now, because the sooner that dries, the sooner I can start putting them onto this, and also painting a bit more detail, like the white floats that go on the side here, and the copper for the prop, and putting all our funnels on, which are all painted up and ready to go. All right, I shall return back in a sec. Okay, welcome back again. Those parts are drying that I've painted, so as usual, I'm moving on to the next thing, and the only other thing I can do is move on to the next boat. So what I'm up to is the 11 meter, 60 horsepower motorboat. Here's the two parts that I've just taken off the sprue and cleaned them up, and they sit together like that, and it's a nice fit. One thing I've noticed here is that's all there is to it. I mean, there's the little funnels we're going to put on there. There's a bit of photo etch railing, and of course the propeller underneath. But there's this area at the back here. Now, going by our anatomy of a ship, let me show you what that actually looks like. And there it is there. So there's this white cover over the top of that. All right, so that would sit, there it is there. But the white roof is not included with the kit. That part doesn't exist. So I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do with the inside of that. It's unfortunate. I can't really make anything cover, and it's definitely not a part that I have an option of using. So again, we've got the deck tan around the outside and the usual areas. That area in there, I may just have to leave the colour, the grey that it's going to be. Yeah, there'll be no roof over the top of that, but we'll see. We'll see. Again, there's also a mast on here with rigging. We've got flags, staffs, flag poles on either end that are not here, and there's a buoy there, red and white, that's on there that is sort of connected, leaning up against that rear mast area that is not included. So I may have something from a previous build, but I don't think it's going to be a 1/200 scale. So again, a couple of little things we might have to go without. So anyway, not to worry. I'll get these bits ready to paint, I suppose. It's just, yeah, everything's sort of included on this, so there's probably going to need to be a bit of masking going on as well, and some holes drilled in there, so I can do all that. Pretty much a repeat of what I've done before. But anyway, I'll continue on, get this bit done, and let the other parts dry, and we'll come back and start putting the other two boats together. Okay, back shortly. Okay, welcome back. So I'm still working on the other set of boats while the parts were drying. I've got the little prop shaft, the rudder, and the propeller on there. That's fine. On the deck, we've got to put the little funnels, I guess they are called. It's these little ones here. You can tell. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they're like little air vents, I'm guessing, that come from under the deck. Now, the problem is that these are really small. Now, whereas the last boats I've been using the end of toothpicks, that's just not small enough. So now I've got this wire. This is 0.75 millimeter wire, which I think might even be too big. So I'm just going to cut a bit of that off. If it is, I do think somewhere I have some even thinner wire. Now, they're in here. There's no way you'll be able to see. There's 5 pieces in there. And if I just, I haven't tried this yet, but if I have a look at one and see if this is going to fit in the end, and it's not. Okay, so that's too big. So I need to go find some smaller copper wire that I'm sure I have somewhere, but it's going to take a bit of work to find. So when I find that, I'll come back. The idea is to just touch glue them into the funnel ends, just so I can stand them up and they can be painted. And I've got something to hold them with this, because they're just too small to be in my fingers or any sort of clamp. Okay, so I'll come back and I'll go figure that out. Find this wire of mine. Okay, back in a sec. Okay, welcome back. So we've had a bit of a disaster. In fact, we've had a major disaster. All those parts out there that were drying, I brought them back in, and here they are here, looking all good. There's our hull. That's all painted up, and all the vents, everything ready to go. I went and took the masking off the deck, and unfortunately, as I peeled the masking off, it lifted up the deck tan and the primer underneath, leaving bare plastic. So I thought, oh no. Anyway, not to worry. So obviously there's some contaminate on the plastic that's caused that to happen, and I didn't wash these parts before I painted them. So, and the first time I've had to mask, that's what's happened. So a rule of thumb there is to clean your plastic, and that's what I'm going to have to do, is wash all my plastic sprues just in dishwashing liquid in the sink, and make sure that that doesn't happen. Worst part is that I then went to YouTube to find out. I was given advice to use Dettol. Will take the paint off. If I just took the paint off, then I can just redo it again from scratch. Just reprime it, deck tan it again, get it all looking fine, and put all our bits back on. I didn't have any Dettol. Then I was suggested oven cleaner. I didn't have any of that, so I jumped on YouTube, and YouTube said acetone gets paint off plastic. Oh, good. I've got some of that. Put some in a container. Got this. There it is there. Put it in there. Watch the paint come off. Oh, fantastic. Got an old brush, and the paint came straight off. Yep. And so did the plastic. It's literally melted the plastic. So if you can see that, yeah, it's just melted the top of that plastic and pretty much destroyed it. There's nothing I can do. I can't get that back. So unfortunately, we will not have a 15 meter, 150 horsepower motorboat. Was that it? Yeah, that was it. Ceremonial barge. That was the 2 of them, I think. No, there was 1 of them I was building. Just checking the book here. Let's see. Yeah, it was the next boat in step 1. Yeah, they're both ceremonial barges, and this was the smaller one. There was only 1 of them. Well, that's it. There won't be one now, unfortunately. Yeah, I'll keep all the parts there. You know, maybe I can recycle and use them later on in the other boats. Might you know, might be a use, maybe for those funnels there anyway. But yeah, that deck is destroyed. Acetone, no, don't touch plastic with acetone. Yeah. Anyway, a newbie mistake, and a lesson that I'll certainly take that on board. So having said that, that can go to the side, and we can just jump straight now to step 2, which was the other boat that I was starting while the other parts were drying. And this is with the little bits of wire I was going to put on those little funnels. So that'll be the next thing I do, and we'll continue with building just the one of those. So yeah, it's a shame. So this was the boat. I'll show you here. So those two we've got built. You can see that. Yeah, so these, we got 2 of those built. They come up really nice, as you saw. But unfortunately, the one of this we won't have. Yeah, it's a shame. It would have been a nice looking little boat too. Now we're moving on, and we'll do this one, which is the 11 meter 60 horsepower motorboat. One of them, I showed you that earlier. That doesn't include that white canopy on the top. Okay, so yeah, bit sad, but you know, that's the way it goes. But yeah, the important thing is wash the sprues. I need to make sure there's no releasing agent or anything on these sprues. Apparently there is, because that's why it's lifted up the primer off the plastic with the Tamiya tape. And I can't afford to have that happen, particularly if I'm doing the hull and trying to do the boot line, where I've got to mask the whole length of the hull. Be nothing worse than painting that on and then peeling off that tape and pulling up everything underneath it. No, 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 no. So yeah, wash the sprues. Okay, tip number 1. All right, guys, back shortly.
Hey there. Well, first of all, I want to stress the importance of cleaning sprues before you use them, okay? Wash them in just dishwashing liquid's the best thing, and make sure they're rinsed off properly and let them dry. Now, that's what I need to do with my build here with the Yamato, but I also need to wash the hull. And I've come across a bit of a problem, and that is, how do I wash this when it's this big? Okay, so it won't fit in the sink, definitely won't fit in the sink. So what I've decided to do is I'm going to take it and go and have a shower. Me and Yamato are going to go have a shower. Alright, that's the only way I can think of doing it, and I'm going to do it today because it's a nice hot summer day here in Sydney at almost 30 degrees. There's a bit of a breeze, so it's going to help it dry quickly as well. I'll be able to put it outside on the balcony there, and she'll be all looking good. Okay, so let's go. No, 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 it's not let's go. I'm going to go and have a shower with the boat, ship, and get this looking good. I'll be right back.
Okay, welcome back again. I've just painted up these little fellas here. These are little air vents that sit on top of the deck. How tiny they are. I'll put a picture up, a few pictures that I threw up on Facebook actually, to show you the size of them. So they're painted, they're probably dry now, ready to go on. I've got the hull and the deck primed, that's drying, and then I'll do the deck tan on top, but I'll have to mask up little bits to keep some areas that need to stay grey. I'm just going now, looking at while paint is drying, moving on. And I have here we go here, so we're doing this step 2, this boat here, which was the 11 meter 60 horsepower motorboat. Then I've gone down the instructions here. I'm moving on to the next one here, which is this one here. And this boat is a 12 meter 30 horsepower motor launch. Okay, and there's actually 6 of these. And it's a little bit deceiving on these instructions because they have, so you've got these parts go together, then the tail shaft goes in, or the rudder and the bit goes on there, and then these go on, and then down here it says make 6, which is those. Then we go to here, which is just another boat, but there's just one of them because it doesn't say make more. Then we go down here, which is the normal way you would follow instructions, and we build this boat, which we go across, and it says make 4. So we make 4 of these, and then we go across here, and there's another one, but there's just one boat. So I guess we just make 1. I think the layout on the page could be a little bit easier to follow, because you've got like one boat, one boat, one boat, then we've got 6 of these, 4 of these. Yeah, it's just, you just got to pay attention. So what I'm doing is, obviously because of our disaster, this boat no longer exists, unfortunately. I'm washing the sprues. Okay, so these ones are the boats. The one that says make 6, there's 2K sprues. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's the other parts. There's the deck bit that goes inside. So most of what's on here are to make these 6 boats. So I'm going to go wash these now. I'm going to just soak them in some dishwashing liquid in the sink with the plug in, of course, being careful when I'm rinsing them off, I should say. So once they're just got a bit of soap over them, I'll rinse them off in some cold water, and then I'll go and let them dry. Sit somewhere by the window and let them dry properly. And then I'll be able to take all these pieces off and start working on them. And in the meantime, I'll come back probably while that's drying, because those will take a bit of time to dry. We'll come back and we'll probably be able to get some deck tan on this boat, and get a bit more progress on that. All right, so yeah, I'm really kicking myself about that boat that was destroyed. All right, yeah. So no, don't clean plastic with acetone, whatever. All right. My mistake, my big mistake. I even YouTubed and looked at, and there's a guy there with a bit of plastic on a thing. He wasn't a modeler at all. It's just it was cleaning acetone. Cleaning plastic with acetone was the title. And then, of course, I've looked down into the comments of this guy, and everybody in there is just going, well, no, that's stupid. What are you doing? You'll ruin it and all this. And I never even looked at the comments. I just saw him soaking it in there and brushing it, and the paint was coming off, and it looked all right. I thought, oh, cool. I've got some of that. I'll use that. Never again. Never again. So, all right, moving on. I shall be back shortly. Hey, welcome back. So I've got the deck tan sprayed and the grey sprayed on the hull of the little boat, and it's out there drying. The sprues are washed and almost dried, but I thought I'll take the parts off now anyway. There's still little drops of water down in there where they gathers, but it's okay. I'm just taking them off, and then I'm going to clean them up. But what I wanted to show you, and let me just zoom this camera down a little bit closer so you can see. About 1 sec. Okay, so the attachment points on the sprue are in some really awkward places. It makes it quite difficult for cleanup on these. Now they're beautifully detailed. You can see the inside there. There's some ridges in there that show the wood deck. They look really nice, and including along the edge here. But where the sprues join, I still need to get myself a pointing device, don't I? So they come across on there, see? So yeah, it's quite difficult. So what I've done is I've cut these off with plenty of space, but there's a little ridge that runs all the way along here, and these sprues are right connected on that ridge. It's going to be difficult to clean them up. Same with the little one on the back. So what I do is, first of all, I'll come in and get it right up close onto there. Just cut that. All right. Now, if you can see, there's still that nub there. So what you need to do, at least that's what I do, is you just get in here with a brand new sharp blade, and you just work down. And I'm going to do this on the camera, so I'll put my better magnifying glasses on. So you want to cut down like that. Just slowly work it down. See that? Just went down to there. And then this way, work that down. And there it is. That piece comes out. And you may have to do it a couple of times to get it right flush down like that. And then that way. I'm working it out so there'll be no sign of anything there. Just that one. That's it there. All right, so that's going to have to be done on all these connection points. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points that came off the sprue, and the one at the back as well. 7. Okay, once you've done that, it's really then just going to be a matter of just giving a little bit of a file in there. So we'll just sort of really lightly just go like this with our nano file. If you've got one, they're really the best. There, and that's it. That one's fine. Probably wouldn't hurt just to give it a little go in there too. There. That's it. Okay. So yeah, taking a bit of cleanup on these. There's 3 of them off this sprue. I've got the other sprue, another 3. There's a total of 6 of these boats, and yeah, and then there's these sections here, which will come off as well. And there's also a little piece that looks like engine covers. Here they go down inside the hull there. Okay. But anyway, I'll keep at this. I'll get all these off, cleaned up, and then we'll come back. Okay, back in a sec. Hey, welcome back. So here it is, finished. Everything's put on there. Little air vent on there. I don't know what they're called, those that come up out of the deck. I do have to touch up the hollow parts with a little bit of black, but other than that, this is all done, and yeah, pretty happy with that. So that's the 11-meter 60 horsepower motorboat. Now it doesn't look exactly like the anatomy of the ship because it doesn't come with a cover over the back here, but hey, that's the way it is. So I'll put a photo of it up there in the corner so you can get a better look at it. And while you're looking at that, I'll just show you what it looks like from the magazine. Not magazine, from the book. So in the book, there it is there. So yeah, done the best I could with it, and it's come up quite good. I'm happy with it. And yeah, very nice. So now I will go on with the next lot of boats, which are the 6 of these, which I've already cleaned up, all off the sprue and ready to get some primer on. These are the 12-meter 30 horsepower motor launch boats. Like I said, there's 6 of them we have to build, and they should look quite nice. They're in step 2, so they're the second ship. So that other one was step 2, the first one. This is the next boat, sorry, of the step, if that's not too confusing. But anyway, I will show you what they're going to look like from the anatomy of the ship. Is pretty much, that's them there. Now again, they don't have the white covers as an option in the kit. That's fine, because I'd much rather show all this detail. So this is how they look. They're open. They've got the wooden seats, the wooden floor. So we'll be able to get them looking as close to that as we can with what we have. Now, the instructions show the only photo etch on these boats are the propeller, and that's it. There's no railings, even though there's a bit of railing on the back here. There's no kit supplied railing for that. So we'll just have to go without, I'm afraid. Yeah, but not a problem. It's going to look good anyway, I'm sure. All right, so I'm going to get on to these, get these ready to be painted, and get them painted, eh? All right, okay, back soon. Hey, welcome back. So more progress is happening here. So the hulls are all undercoated, and I'm about to go and put the base coat on there, the grey. Then I can come back and paint the white around the outside and do the propellers copper. Now, the interior inside here, it has a wood effect. Probably can't see it in there. It's a wood grain effect. So what I'm going to do is probably run some masking tape down the inside on each side and then brush paint that on. I think that'll come up quite well. I'll do a really light deck tan, which is the same deck tan as I've painted these. At the moment I'm just doing the ends in the grey base coat. I'm brushing that on. It looks like it'll take about 2 coats, but that'll be the easiest way to do that. I'm working on that as well as the other 5 of them there. Also in the hull of the boat here, there's a little, I think it's the engine, I'm not sure, but it has it looking a slightly lighter, shinier grey than the rest of the boat. So what I've done is I've used a metallic silver. It's part of the engine on the boat that runs the propeller, and they sit in the sort of, you can see them sitting down on the floor in the boat there. There'll be one in each, and hopefully that'll look quite close to what I'm trying to get the effect of, which is looking like that. So there it is there. So there's our wood deck, wood seats in the boat. We've got the deck tan in the base there, and the grey on each end, and of course the white that I'll paint. So yeah, they're coming up really well. Like I mentioned, we don't have the covers, but that's fine as long as we get this looking like that. I'm going to be happy. All right, they're the 12 meter 30 horsepower motor launchers, and there's 6 of them. That's all part of step 2. So I'm going to go on, continue painting these, and we'll come back probably when I'm finished them off, and we'll have a look at the last one going together, because then we've got to move on to a few more boats. In fact, we have another 1, 2, 4. So we've got 4, 5, 6. We have another 6 boats to build yet. 4 of one type and 1 of each of another. So we're getting there. We're getting there. Okay, hang in there. I'll be back in a sec. Hey, welcome back again. I've just got all my parts ready to go on all these, and but first I need to do the wooden deck in the bottom here, which will be the deck tan. So there's like a little bit, this here is, if you can hear that, it's all like floorboards in there. And that'll be deck 10. And I've taped around there because I'm going to brush paint this, just make it a little bit easier rather than masking up the whole thing. And I'll brush paint that in, probably do 2 or 3 coats till it looks good. I'll do all the 6 like this. Then we'll be able to pop our little engine, which is here, one of these. If I can grab one, behave for me. So that's going to pop, sit a little spot for it there like that. That's it. And then of course the upper deck with the seats will go across on the top of there. So yeah, these should look quite good. So I just thought I'd show you that masking. I'm just using some 3mm icky sticky tape, which is great stuff. You can buy the whole range. Small plug here, icky sticky. You can buy the whole range of tapes on a dispenser. Check that out. There's all your tapes ready to go on there. Really handy. Okay, yeah, so I'm going to I'll get all these taped up. I've only done one now, and then start brush painting, and we'll come back and have a look at these when it's done. All right, come back shortly. Okay, so just been waiting for parts to dry on those other boats I did, the 12-meter motor launchers. In the meantime, I've taken off the sprue 2 other little boats we've got to do. Now, these 2 are the, let me just check. Well, so we got the 6-meter sampan, 6-meter or 20-foot boat, which will be the tiny one there. We just have to do one of those. And then this one here is the 8-meter sampan. And that's going to go like that. So that's the 2 of those. And then after that, we've got to build 4 more, which are 9-meter cutters. Okay, so we'll get to them. But yeah, so what I've done, and I'll just bring these in because I've done that and these are dried, is I've done around the outsides of here. So we've got these white bits. What's the name of those? They're just stopping the, you know, when they're up against the hull or somewhere getting damaged. Floats, I guess. Yeah, we've also got the engine sitting there inside in its silver color. Came up quite well. Take that out so it doesn't create so much glare. So that's silver in there, and also the deck tan in that front section. And they're all the same on all 6 boats, which means all they need now is for me to pop these on top, which is what I'm going to do right now. And then we'll get to work on these 2, get those 2 out of the way. Then we can work on the other 4 larger sampan boats, which were the 9-meter ones. We need 4 of them, and that will be the end of the boats. We'll have all of them done. Okay, so I'll get these on. We'll have a quick look at them when they're on, and I'll get on to them. Back soon. There we go. I've got 4 done, but I'll just show you myself doing one of them. Just a matter of taking our toothpick off like that, and then getting our deck. Same thing, take the toothpick off like that. Always do a test fit. Just put it on there. Beautiful. It's going to fit. Take that back off. Get a little bit of glue, just a touch in the top, one on each side, and there. Obviously these things don't need to be smothered in glue all the way around because they're not, you know, no pressure in any of these. What I do too is I'll just grab one of those toothpicks to help myself. Just push the deck down, make sure it's seated in there. It is. Top end is in. That's it. Done. Simple as that. Okay, we'll do one more. click that off. Served its purpose. That one. Quick test fit. Particularly after you paint, it's a good idea to test fit. It's just going to make those tolerances a little bit closer. And touch there, there, and stone there. Pop it in. Just make sure it's pushed down. Push that in. That's done. Just had to be careful because you got your tiny little rudder and propeller under there. You just don't want to touch those, but yeah, done. They're done. These I can reuse. Always reuse and recycle. Toothpicks. So the next little pieces I want to glue. But yeah, and there's our boats. I think they came up quite good, eh? And once again, I'll take a quick picture on them. It's a shame they don't have more photo etch. I thought you would think that they'd have at least a photo etch around the railing on the rear there. That would have made a bit of a difference, but there isn't. But anyway, there's what we're trying to get a look like, which is that. Now, obviously, you could scratch build more if you wanted to, but I don't know. I'm happy with the result. You know, it's fine by me. I don't even know where these boats are going to go, if anywhere. So, yeah. Anyway, yeah, they come up well. I'll put a photo up in the corner here, and get a bit of a closer look. And now I'm going to just move on and do these other two little boats. We'll get them done exactly the same way as I did those, just much smaller. Although this one doesn't have the white floats on the side protecting it. But anyway, I did notice on this one though, and this was part D15 for this small one. There's quite a large sink mark on the inside of there. You can go ahead and fill that if you want to, but I think the paint will cover that up quite well. And then of course this is going to go over the top. So yeah, it's not going to be seen. But for also this, there's a little rudder to go on the bottom of that photo, which I still have to get off. And yeah, this one doesn't have a rudder, which is unusual, but no rudder for that, but there is for the smaller one. All right, I'll be back with a bit more progress back shortly. Okay, welcome back again. So the two other boats I started on was the 8 meter sampan, which is this one, which is finished now. Just glued that deck down on there. And this one here is the 6 meter sampan with yeah, it's a 20-foot one. So those two are now done. So I can put those in the little box here. So we've got one that goes with those, one of those like that. Step 2, put that across. And now the last part of step 2 is these ones. And these are the 4, oh, what are they? 9 meter cutters. Okay, so they've all been primed at this stage. I've got the rudders on them, and these are ready for the next step, which is deck tan on these, which go inside. They sit down on that ribbed section. So that's all deck tan, so I don't have to do anything in there because that'll be covered by that. And then this will be deck tan with a little bit on the back here, which is grey, I think, or deck tan. It looks like, actually they're deck tan all the way across. There's no grey on that at all. So that'll be easy just to paint that in the grey. And of course these will get done in the base grey as well. So I will go and paint them up. And that will be the end of the boats. That'll be all the boats done. We'll come back and have a look at what we've done. Okay, back shortly. Okay, welcome back again. So I'm just putting these last 4 boats together. They're all painted up, everything's done on the painting side. Just got to put those wood deck floors in. Just a matter of taking it here, just taking my little holder toothpicks off, and then all I'm doing is just putting a touch of glue on the runners where it's going to sit like that, and then we'll just drop this in like that, push it down, and there it is. Make sure that's down firm. That's 2. As for these ones, these are ready to go on as well. So again, just take them off, serve their purpose. Pop this one off here, like that. Again, it was hidden under the back here where it's going to be covered. So that's going to sit. We'll just do a quick test fit here. And that's going to be, it's going to be fine with that. Nice. Just back out again. And once again, just a touch in here. That. Touch there. A little bit in the back. One there. That's all you need. Locate it back in there. Push it down. That's it. Just being careful not to lock my little rudder off the back, but there you go, that one's done. Looking nice. And I'm just going to go ahead and do the rest of these 3 on here. And then we'll come back and have a look. Might also mention that we finished a couple of sprues off. So the sprues that all these boats were on, which was these ones here, the 2 K sprues, are completely empty now. So that's the first 2 of many that'll be gone. I'll cross them off the list of sprues that I have. So that list's getting shorter, and move on. All right, I'll come back when I've done these, and then we'll have a quick overview of everything I've done. Okay, we're back in a sec. Okay, so there they are, 4 9-meter cutters. They are all done in there, ready to go. So that completes all of the boats actually. So we'll go through and have a quick look. We've got the cutters there. We've got these 2 here. Now we've just got to make sure I get these right. This one here, or these 2, the 2 small ones. The smallest is the 6-meter Samson, which is that sampan, I'll get it right, is that one. Then we've got this one here, which is the 8-meter there. Then we've got the ones we've done, which are the 9-meter cutters. Then we go over, we're looking at the 12, this one here, which is a nice little fella. This one here is the 12-meter motor launch on that. Then across to here, we have, sorry, I get this wrong. They're the 12-meter motor launches. There were 6 of those. Okay. This one is the 11-meter motorboat. That's fine. We got that one. 11-meter, yeah. And then we had over here, we've got these boats here. I'll just be careful. Containers on tight. So those 2, well, those 2 we'll start with. Was the first one we did in part 1. And that is the 17-meter ceremonial barge. There were 2 of those. They're done. And then this one was and I'm just referring to the anatomy of a ship so I can look at it, the 15-meter ceremonial barge, which turned into a disaster. And I'm sure you'll remember, unfortunately, yeah, I destroyed the deck. You'll have to go back and you'll, well, yes, you know what happened there. So I've kept everything from it, all the photo etch, all the funnels, the hull, in the miracle that something may happen and I could get something out of it. I don't know. I'm looking at it now and I'm thinking, you know, maybe if I sanded it and used Mr. Surfacer, I might get a decent surface out of that. I haven't given up on it. All right, so there we go. So there they are, all the ship's boats. They're all going to be put aside for safekeeping. Mark them that they were, step 1 was this. These 3 were all done in step 2. And yeah, so let me just clear up here a minute. We'll bring out the anatomy of a ship and have a look at them in there. Be back in a sec. Okay, so here's our instructions. Step 1, done. Step 2, done. You can see how basic these instructions are and how the lack of detail that's in them. I mean, it's clear and they show you exactly what to do. There's no problem at all, and that's fine. But if you really want to build this and add a little bit of extra detail and really, you know, get an idea of what these things really look like, rather than, you know, ink drawings, then you need this. This is the anatomy of a ship, and I will be referring back to this all the way through this build, because as you can see, look at these. There's our ceremonial barge there. Look at the detail, all the angles you can see. You can see the proper colors of things. I would never have known to do those funnels, the copper color, if I hadn't had these pictures. Going over, there's the other ceremonial barge, the one that we destroyed, unfortunately, but may get resurrected, we'll see. Here we are looking at this one, is the this 11-meter motorboat. It didn't come with the covers, so we had to not have them on, but that's fine. It showed up. And same with these, there was no option for covers. I do remember Trumpeter kits having the option, or maybe it was a different brand, of having the covers on or off. But I think they look much better open anyway, so we've done that. But you can see what I mean by the detail and so forth that you can see when you're looking at these in this book. All right, so that's it. Now, what's going to be happening now is we'll be finishing the video here for part 2. We're going on to part 3. And part 3, flipping over to our instructions, will be the aircraft, the float planes. So there's 2 different types on there. We'll be putting them together. They're all on clear sprues, so that should be quite interesting, putting it together and getting them looking good. The paint color core for these is in the instructions, and they have it quite clearly. You can see what you need to do. They show where the decals go, the call out for the paint. They've got all the different brands there. I've got the color I need here, which is the dark green Imperial Japanese Navy XF70. That's what I'll be doing for the green. And then there's it's a Japanese Navy grey, which will be the underside of both the aircraft. And that's it. That's all we need. They're the only 2 colors required for them, and of course the decals. So, and of course in our anatomy of the ship, for reference, you can't do better than that. Look at the colors in the photos there. We can see everything. You can see there's a bit of photo etch to go on these as well. It's just showing some of the turntable there, but here's a shot of the aircraft on the catapult and the actual catapult itself, which is in part of the building of the aircraft. So yeah, so thank you for joining me in part 3. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Give me the thumbs up if you like the video, and put your comments below, and if you got any suggestions or tips or questions, whatever, or thoughts or opinions, don't be too harsh on me for what I did with that acetone. You know, I learnt my lesson, trust me. Okay, and yeah, so come back in part 3 where we tackle the aircraft. Should be interesting, should be fun, and thanks a lot, and I'll see you all then. Okay, bye for now. Cheers.